Yes, sir. So, for the first panel, we have this framework, we have this technology, and we have other frameworks. So, as we talk about the first panel discussion, we have two important messages. We have this discussion. Second discussion, we have with Mr. Siddharth and Mr. Krishna. And that discussion
और है ना और आवाज भी आ मुझे क्यों कॉल जल्दी आओ यार दादा जल्दी आओ 2 साल हो गए लेके आओ हाँ हाँ हेलो क्या कर रहा है तो फटाफट बात होगी They also have accommodating culture. It doesn't work. Check once of the rush to go. बहुत दूर से मतलब कैमरा में कुछ सेंटर में एक्चुअली बेस्ट रहता है But I think इसमें क्या कि नहीं वो इसमें करेक्ट लिख रहा है लाइव स्ट्रीम यहाँ पे बात हुआ बोला आ रहा हूँ वो नहीं वो ब्रेकफास्ट कर रहा था मेडिकल स्किल का अरे हमने सबको फोन कर लिया मेरे काम कर मैंने एलम ग्रुप पे भेज दिया हाँ ग्रुप पे भेज दिया क्या लाया एक मिनट कौन है వీడియో కూర్చుంటాడా అన్నాడు ఈరోజు ఈ ఒక్కరోజు అయోధ్య సండే హాలిడే కదా మండే దానిలో ఇచ్చినట్టు మా కాంపిటీషన్ ఉంది
Yeah, please. You can also set it. I also tried. You want to hear this? No, seriously. That is the premise I brought around.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Arya Anand.
And I'm Jyoti.
We welcome all the esteemed guests and participants to the Leadership Conclave organized by EPGP 2023-24 at Indore. We welcome you to Prabodhan. Today's event is themed at Positioning India 2047, a thoughtful exploration into the future of our great nation. As we kick off this momentous occasion, we once again warmly welcome every participant and every guest today at this event. We are honored to have your presence today. We're delighted to have leaders and visionaries from different walks of life among us. And as we start, let's embark on this significant journey and welcome everyone to illuminate the ceremonial lamp. We extend our warm welcome and invitation to our director, Professor Himanshu Rai, Chair EPGP, Professor Saurabh Chandra, and our distinguished panelists for today, Mr. Siddharth Sethi, Ms. Garima Sethi, Mr. Satyendra Tiwari, and Mr. Nilesh Biniwale to grace the stage for this auspicious occasion. And I request Ravi to escort everyone to the stage.
I'd like to request our director, Professor Himanshu Rai, and EPGP Chair Saurabh Chandra to please take the seat. It is both a privilege and immense pleasure to stand before you today to introduce a true luminary in the realm of leadership, Professor Himanshu Rai, the director of Indore. Professor Himanshu Rai is an accomplished leader with a trail of accolades. Under his guidance, Indore secures the prestigious Triple Crown accreditation of AMBA, AACSB, and EQUIS, a distinction held by only 100 institutions globally. Before helping Indore, Professor Rai served as a dean at SJ Bokwani, India, and taught at SJ Bokwani, Milan, IIM Lucknow, and XLRI. His illustrious corporate journey includes a pivotal role at Tata Steel, where he shaped the quality systems and communication policy. As an alum of IIM Ahmedabad, KREC Suratkal, Professor Rai is a prolific author with the bestsellers like Negotiation and Co-authorship of Organizational Behavior, Stephen McShane and Marian. A sought-after trainer, he has honed the skills of over 30,000 professionals in negotiations and leadership across the government and private sectors. His expertise extends to consultancy of Indian industry, state government, and international organizations like World Bank. As the chairperson of board of Indore Management Association, Durban University of Technology Business Schools Advisory Board, and ESC Claremont Graduate School of Management International Advisory Board. Professor Rai is an independent director in various companies and an advisor to startups. His personal initiative, the Center for Conflict Management, resolves interpersonal and intrapersonal conflicts among the youth globally. His accomplishments are adorned with the NTSC Scholarship, Infosys Fellowship, and LMA Outstanding Management Professional Award 2022. He is also recognized as one of the India's 25th most influential voices by LinkedIn and the 2023 top 10 motivational speakers in India by Medium. Beyond his professional achievements, Professor Rai embraces yoga and considers Himalaya his spiritual sanctuary. Beyond passionate about mountaineering, he has conquered Kilimanjaro, Everest Base Camp, and other peaks, fueling his love for adventure. An enthusiast for quizzing, dramatics, reading, and music, Professor Rai's life reflects a captivating blend of intellectual pursuit and artistic expression. We are delighted to have him with us today. We are happy to have him for the second term. He is our shining guiding light and a source of motivation and inspiration. Let's put our hands together to welcome Professor Himanshu Rai as he addresses our conference.
A very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and to all of those who are attending this for the nth time. My apologies to be listening to my introduction yet again. Clearly, we need to have a shorter introduction, which needs to be given because most of you have already heard. I was very excited when I looked at the topic positioning India 2047, and therefore I put up my thinking hat. In fact, this is not even a thinking hat; this was a Jyotishi's hat. And I'm going to make 5 predictions about India at 2047. And then I'm going to be talking about the challenges that we might face, and subsequently how we as individuals, how we as leaders of our own destiny, irrespective of the designation that we have, can actually do something about it. So my first prediction is, it's a no-brainer, India will become the second largest economy by 2047. Of course, one can always talk about how it's going to happen, whether we are actually going to achieve it in this term, that term, but this is my first prediction. My second prediction is India will be a major hub for information technology, biotechnology, and renewable energy. These are the 3 areas in which India is going to take global leadership. My third prediction is India will be super advanced in healthcare, driven by artificial intelligence and telemedicine, and this will lead to a massive increase in the life expectancy of all the citizens of India. My fourth prediction is India is going to be the global leader in skilled workforce, which means India is going to supply the skilled workforce to the rest of the world. And the final one is that India would have completed manned space missions, significantly interplanetary projects, and would have landed somebody on the moon. Given the kind of trajectory that ISRO has, I have absolutely no doubt on either of these 5 predictions. Now, if I make these predictions, clearly the path to each of these is going to be one which is going to be fraught with challenges. And therefore, I'm going to use the Bani complex, which has replaced the VUCA complex, to try and understand what problems can we actually face. The Bani, for those of you who have heard this particular term, the B of the Bani stands for brittle. That today, the environment is brittle, the world is brittle. The situations that seem to be seemingly strong may suddenly break. The biggest example of this is the global supply chain. Who would have thought? We were talking about globalization, but the moment COVID hit in and we had lockdowns, suddenly the global supply chain shut down. And we had to make sure that we had what it needed for us to continue as not just a nation, not just a state, not just a city, but even as a campus. Even as a campus, we have to make sure that we are fending for ourselves. So this brittleness is going to stay. Anxious, a state where constant change and the unpredictability about what's happening with the economy, what's happening with things around us, is actually making people anxious. And when I say making people anxious, I'm not just talking about individual level, but I'm talking about collective anxiety. For instance, there's collective anxiety even in the world of business schools. And that collective anxiety, which is when talked about in the Dean's conferences that I happen to attend, is all about the world becoming autodidactic. The world is becoming autodidactic in the sense that learners are choosing what they wish to consume, how they wish to consume, when they wish to consume, and where they wish to consume education and information. And therefore, the business schools have to now gear themselves up to make sure that they have a bouquet of programs that they offer, that they have a wonderful variety of the ways, the pedagogical tools that they have. And instead of merely creating and disseminating knowledge, they constantly need to endeavor to curate knowledge as well, which is out there. And even if you look at people in general, if you look at the job market, people are worried. People are worried that AI is going to take jobs away. But allow me to assure you that it is not AI that is going to take your jobs away. People who know AI will replace people who do not know AI. And therefore, what you have to do is you have to make sure that you're armed with the relevant tools. The end of the Barney world is about non-linearity of the things. Events or outcomes, they don't have a straightforward cause and effect kind of thing. For example, the impact of social media can suddenly bring a company down. The impact of social media can suddenly pull an unexpected person up. And if you look at geopolitics, and this is something that I was talking about in another event a few days back, that a few months back, suddenly the real estate prices in Dubai shot up. And you know what the reason was? The reason was the Russia-Ukraine war. Now, one would be wondering, hey, hang on, this does not make sense. But it made sense because what had happened was that the oligarchs of Russia and obviously the very, very rich people of Ukraine were parking their illegal money into Dubai. And what better way to park than into real estate? And therefore, an event happening in one part of the world has a non-linear, unexpected impact in a completely different part of the world. And fourth, the I of the Bani stands for incomprehensible. We were talking about things that we could predict, that we could know, but they're now things which we know we cannot understand. For example, this goddamn virus. We don't know how it's mutated. It seems to be coming back. It seems to be going away. But we have absolutely no clue about how it is going to behave. Climate change. Look at the vagaries of climate change. We actually had a warm new year. And then suddenly, the week following the warm new year, we have this crazy cold. We used to have fog in the last week of December in Delhi and the first week of January, so people used to plan their travel that place. But now we have fog starting from the second week of January. And it continues to wreak havoc so far as the air flights are concerned, so far as the flights are concerned. And therefore, given that these challenges are here to stay, what do we need to do? I always keep talking about having a vision. Organizations need to have a vision, departments need to have a vision, individuals need to have a vision. Now, what I want you people to do is also add a pinch of imagination to that vision. What do you need to imagine? Imagine what kind of a universe would you want to be a part of? Imagine what kind of a universe would you want to step into? Imagine what kind of a universe would you like to leave behind for your children and your grandchildren? And in the same breath, realize nobody else is going to create that universe for you. You and I will have to create that universe. So, what can you do to help in creating the universe that you have imagined and that you would want the future generations to cherish? The second is introspect. One of the very important projects, and why I'm saying that India is going to become a global leader so far as renewable energy is concerned, because I've heard people talking, those people who are responsible for do so, and I can see the seriousness with which we are actually pursuing that goal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji talked about Mission Life, lifestyle for environment. And what we did was digging from our roots, taking out from our roots. We looked at the other world's philosophy, which talked about recycling and reusing. And we looked at our scriptures, we looked at our rules, and we said we need to add another R, and that is to reduce. Recycling and reusing is not enough. We have to reduce. And what do we mean by reduce? Reduce egoistic consumption. Reduce what you don't really need. And that is where I urge all of you to make sure that you are doing it in your life and that you're motivating others around your life to make sure that they are differentiating between needs and desires. Please note, like what Gandhi said, that this universe has got enough to satisfy every man's need, but this universe will never have enough to satisfy even one man's need. Yat jagrito durmudaiti daivam tadu suptasya tathaivaiti. Duram gamam jyotisham jyotirekam tanne manashik sankalpamastu. The human mind is full of desires, and the human mind has the capability of traveling as much in the state of wakefulness as it can travel while it is asleep. And this human mind is full of desires. You need to control these desires and differentiate them from your true needs. Look at what you have. Do you need all of that? And if you don't, make sure that you give it to somebody who actually needs that. So this reduction of material things is something that we need to look at very, very seriously. And the third part is we need to discover ourselves. How do you discover yourself? By figuring out what your true passion are, by figuring out who you truly are. And once you have discovered yourself, also try to discover your relationship with the universe. Why do I say this? Once again, I go back to the scriptures. Now, what the scripture says, Om Dev Shanti, Antariksham Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Rapa Shanti, Roshadaya Shanti. What it is talking about is understand your relationship with water, understand your relationship with air, understand your relationship with soil, understand your relationship with trees, with the fauna. Why? The moment you understand your relationship with somebody, naturally and automatically you also understand what your responsibilities are. If I understand that these are my parents, I automatically know what my responsibilities are. If I understand these are my students, I automatically know what my responsibilities are. If I understand these are my friends, I automatically know what my responsibilities are. Likewise, when at a philosophical level you understand what is our relationship with water, what is our relationship with soil, what is our relationship with plants, you will naturally understand as to what your responsibilities towards each of these are. And that is what we need to actually do to make sure that we can navigate through the maze that the Bani world presents to us. The question is how to do it. The first suggestion that I have, and this is obviously going to be open for panel discussion subsequently, is develop fortitude. Get over the fear of failure. This is one thing that I'm trying to say from as many fora as possible in our country, that as a country, as a culture, we don't appreciate failure. We don't celebrate failure. And particularly the entrepreneurs in here, Siddhartha is a testimony to that. If at all, people fail, people immediately point out fingers at them. देखो, मैंने पहले ही बोला था. I already told it, करना ही नहीं चाहिए था. The whole point is, till such time that we start celebrating failure, we will not have an Apple coming from India. We will not have a Meta coming from India. We will not have a Microsoft coming from India. We have to understand failure. And I can give you two quick examples off my hat. Our most beloved president, APJ Abdul Kalam, wanted to become a fighter pilot, got the 9th position. There were only 8 seats available. What did he do? Did he give up? No. He worked very hard. He became the missile man of India and subsequently went on with his hard work and perseverance to become the most loved president of our country. Look at Dhirubhai Ambani, born in a small village in Gujarat, struggled throughout his life, failed in every venture that he took while he was in India, worked as a petrol pump attendant in Yemen, and then created a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. So what was different about these two people? These two people understand what I'm sharing with you today. Please remember, hard work is necessary, but it is not sufficient. Beyond hard work, you need to have perseverance. Beyond hard work, you need to have resilience. And I give you an example from my own mountaineering experiences. Please remember, if anybody tells you that he or she has never fallen, he or she has never stumbled, then he or she is either lying or they have never done anything new. Because only if you're walking on a path which has been walked by millions before will you not fall, will you not stumble. But if you're trailblazing, if you're creating your own path, If I'm creating my own trek route in an expedition, I will fall, I will stumble because this has not been tried before. Simply because you fail in one or two things does not make you a failure. Please remember, you will become a failure the day you stop trying. So never give up. Develop this fortitude. The second is make sure that you reflect. And reflect on what? Reflect on what does success mean to you? This was a question that had intrigued me even as a researcher. So in fact, I conducted a massive research where we interviewed 600 leaders in their own capacities across different fields. And there were only two questions I put across them. One was to define success, and the second was, had their definition of success changed over a period of time? Everybody gave their own definition, but one thing which was common to all 600 was that all of them had actually changed the definition of success over a period of time as they progress through life, as they progress through their careers. And I'll give you my own example as to why do I talk about this. In my early days, when I was young, and believe me, I was young once upon a time, I was very competitive. I, I never used to like second. I did come second, that's besides the point. But I used to be focused on always being the first in everything that I did. And I still remember I took up mountaineering, and obviously, those of you who know me, you know that my mountaineering guru is Bacheli Pal, the first Indian woman to climb Everest. And I still remember I was very competitive even then. So even if I were in an expedition, my entire focus used to be the first person to reach the next camp. I still remember this was the third or fourth expedition, third or fourth day. We had completed a 7-hour grueling trek, and I was the first person to reach. And there I was waiting with a smug look on my face, waiting for others to come. The others joined me after half an hour. And on that blessed day, Bacheli came to me and said, Himanshu, tell me one thing. What do you come to the Himalayas for every year? I said, Bacheli, that's a strange question. I mean, you know me now, we are friends. You know that I love nature, I love Himalayas. My name is Himanshu. Inka Anshu mein. She said, really? Tell me one thing. In today's trek, we came across several waterfalls. How many waterfalls did we cross? I said, I do remember waterfalls, but I can't recall how many. She said, we came across several colors of buttercups. Buttercups are these very tiny flowers and extremely tenacious flowers. In the sense, even if it is snowed over, the moment the snow melts, the first thing that pops out is a buttercup. And I said, I do remember buttercups. And they're in crazy colors, blue, yellow, orange, red, white. You name the color, you have the buttercups in that color. I said, I do remember buttercups, but for the love of my life, I can't recall what all colors did I see. And she said, and you still say you come here for nature. And that's when I realized that I was so obsessed about reaching the top that I'd completely forgotten that the joy was in the journey itself. And I realized I was doing the same thing to my life. I was so obsessed with the milestones in my life that I completely forgot that life was not on the milestones, life was what was happening to me between those milestones. And that was the day when my definition of success changed forever. No longer was I competing with anyone, including my own self. Once again, I'm not here to give you any normative jnana, I'm not a Baba. But what I'm here for you to reflect on this. What does success truly mean to you? What it ought to mean to you? Is there a sense in actually living in the here and now, in being right here at the moment, at the place, wherever you are at any given point of time? And the last thing is, make the right choices in life. Practice making the right choices. Now, many people wonder as to what these choices could possibly be. I have 2, 3 very simple examples. Getting angry at someone for something that the person did is natural. Staying angry for a very long time is a choice. Disliking someone for something that the person did or said to you or did not do is natural. Nurturing hatred for a person or a community for a lifetime is a choice. Feeling guilty about something that you did in your life or did not do in your life is natural. But beating yourself up for the rest of your life for it, that's a choice. Ladies and gentlemen, make the right choices in life. You and I will have to make these right choices. You and I will have to understand that we have a vision and an imagination which is aligned with the vision of our great nation. And rest assured, in 2047, we will be exactly where we want it to be. Many, many congratulations to everyone who's a part of this, and all the best for the upcoming event. May God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that insightful address. I surely manifest that India will escalate to the second position and strengthen its position in healthcare and skilled workforce. Also, as you said, accepting, embracing, and keeping chin up during failures is rather a very important aspect of that. Certainly, you focused and you talked about how learning has become much more customized now, and that is exactly what we are headed up to discuss now. As now we head up to our first panel discussion, which focuses around rethinking business models in the era of tech disruptions. The world is changing, and mind you, it's changing at a scintillating speed. Feels like yesterday that our beloved postman used to deliver letters, and cut to today, it's a different landscape altogether. As we talk about this, our esteemed panelists will share their perspectives on adapting and innovating in the face of rapid technological advancements. We now move ahead to our first panel discussion of the day. For the first panel, we have Mr. Satyendra Tiwari, Executive Director, Operations CNH, Ms. Garima Sethi from Invesco, and Mr. Nilesh Biniwale, MD India Operations Patent. All of them will help us understand this from their perspectives and their experiences. I'd like to invite Professor Prashant Salwan, Dean Programs, to moderate this discussion and take this event forward from there. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, as we are headed to our first discussion, I invite our panelists, Mr. Satyendra Tiwari, Executive Director, Operations CNH, Ms. Garima Sethi from Invesco, and Mr. Nilesh Beniwale, MD India Operations Patent. I request Professor Prashant Salvan, Dean Programs, to moderate this discussion and take this event forward. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first panel discussion we are going to have today. And we are really happy to have such great luminaries with us. So I request them first to brief about them a bit. I'll start with Nilesh.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Am I audible in the last row? Thank you so much. So, guys, my name is Nilesh Guniwale, and I do come from Pune. I guess I'm the only one who is not from Indore here, and I wish I was from Indore. This is my second trip to Indore, and congratulations, Indore, for getting the cleanest city again one more time. Seventh time, yeah, seventh time. And I wish we can do it in Pune. And I have my own opinion about that, and we will talk about it in one of the portions of the conversation. Uh, my company is the fastest growing company into as an e-commerce accelerator in Silicon Slopes. We started in 2013, just 10 years, and it's almost the valuation of $4 billion by now, and looking for IPO. I overall have about 30 years of experience into software IT. I've worked for companies like Microsoft, Schlumberger, and then what Himanshu sir was saying, I was an entrepreneur for first 10 years of my career. I started a tech company in 2000, which was much before Baidu. Had a matrimonial site in 98, 99, much before any of the other successful, matrimonial site. In all my interviews after that into my corporate life, I say my failures were much bigger than my successes, and I'm so proud of my failures. But then I thank everyone in my career who respected my failures and gave me next chance. Thank you.
Thank you, Nilesh. Good morning, all. My name is Satyendra Tiwari, and basically I'm a mechanical engineer, born and brought up. I think Himanshu was there when I was working for Tata Steel. Starting with Tata Steel, been there for 11, 12 years. I am now NRI status. You know what it means? Non-resident Indorian. So, been in this city for last 20 years, and this city never allowed me to go anywhere else, but be a proud citizen of this central part of India. Started loving pohe, jalebi, and whatever it means. And then tomorrow is the day when we can be off. In 30 years, I have seen and I correlate what Nilesh is coming from. In the last 30 years, we have seen great major transformation, at least being associated with the industrial process and changes we have seen. So, and that's the topic. I'm very happy about this topic. Prior to that, I was a assessor working with Professor Father Mataris of Accelerate, and he also was there doing some kind of business excellence program. So I was doing Tata Business Excellence Model, and that allowed me to be first time in Indore because we acquired a company and we wanted to assess how they perform on the business excellence model. Being in the industrial function, I had been working as a promoter of lean in the company, and I had been doing different lean management program, world-class manufacturing program, and really interested in seeing this journey of India transforming from agriculture-driven economy to hardcore manufacturing-driven economy. Looking forward for this session. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I really am excited to be here, not just contributing to the panel, but learning from the best. And not too long ago, I was on the other side of the stage, actually graduated from Kellogg not a decade ago now, sure. And since then, I've been working as a transformation consultant across different consulting companies. And recently, like Mr. Himanshu, had a passion for sustainability, and I've taken up that with the private sector. So I'm happy to share some of my experiences from that perspective. But like most people here, I'm also a product of Indore, and back for Goa and Jalebi just for 5 days before I head back west. So thank you very much for having me here.
Thanks so much, ma'am. So it's great. Now we can see that we have three broad industries in front of us. So we have a person having experience from I should say from e-commerce to various other product-specific companies. We have a person from manufacturing, we have a person from consulting, especially in sustainability and transformation. So I think the panel discussion would be really great. And as just mentioned by Jatinderji, one thing also comes very clearly when you look at how the companies in India actually grew. Actually, or if you look at from the economic perspective was mainly focused on policy decisions. Frankly speaking, if you look at India, when we got independence, we were more of a agriculture-based economy, and then government, what was the growth of industry started in India was policy-driven growth. It was not only there was one gentleman once in 1969 decided to go that I should go international, and he was Birla, who was first multinational company from India, and he didn't have any money to go into international because government of India at that time did not allow anyone to take foreign exchange outside India. And then he used his capital assets and make it equal to equity shares in Indonesia. That's how the first Indian multinational company actually started. Thing in India started again in 1991 due to liberalization. And then slowly liberalization in 90s went through different stages and different stages of activity. And then post, I should say that the first entrepreneurship we encountered was in late 1979 when IBM left India. There were a few companies who started to thinking about bringing the space in that activity, but major entrepreneurship started, as Nilesh mentioned, post 1995 when liberalization and other things started. So our main activity currently when we are discussing these issues, and in 21st century, it's not only about government policy decision making or entrepreneurship ecosystem which was developed, but also something which is defined as technology. Like we know very well that if you look at from the world, maximum users of Facebook is in India. Now, if you look at the petri dish for innovation in new technologies is India. Yes, some of you will say that because we don't have very strong personal law, that's the reason people are doing research in India on technology specifically using our personal data, but that's a different ballgame. But the main issue here is we are the people who are absorbing new technologies very faster and business models changing very faster in India. So my question to all the three panels before starting here is, what do you think, frankly speaking, from the point of view of technology disruption which is coming, like you sir mentioned about AI coming in the line and something mentioned about very different, like in manufacturing, we say it was lean manufacturing initially started way back in Ford perspective. Currently, what do you think are the biggest technology things which are coming, which are disrupting various businesses? Anyone of you can start.
I'll take that one. Basically, every year, Gartner has got a technology curve, and then the technology which is coming on the top, next year it goes down. And this keeps on going every time. According to me, as everybody says, it's an AI which is going to come up big time. Data science is going to be there, which is going to be there to stay. But one of the most important things that we would really like to focus is our ability to understand the new trends, adapt to them, and then not create fuss about them. Right now, what is happening is the fuss that has been created around AI is going to be something that is not going to be welcoming for the other technologies. So I would say AI is the one that we should be talking about right now, but AI in terms of vector databases, AI in terms of a lot of other technologies that are aligned with AI, which is to do with NLP or some of this kind of things. We should really get too deep into it because this is the time where we need to really make a huge impact across the world. I think the kind of research that is going on in all the IITs on AI is much more than any other country as of now. So I think AI would be the one that I would call it out right now.
So last 30 years, what we have seen is any industrial setup or any manufacturing base will have two movements. One is you are either moving material or moving manpower. So 30 years back, we had an attendance reporting system. So we go and sign, and we have different punching system. Today, I don't think any company will need any punching system. Or I recall my division when I was a part of Tata Steel. There are 10 people in a department called time office, and there was a position called CPK, chief timekeeper. His job was just to manage who are the people, their attendance, and finally sending it for payroll processing. I don't see it is required now. Everybody is having mobile. So there are certain structural change which I have seen. So, what regards to material movement? So today with the geopositioning, we are able to see major disruption coming from Red Sea. And I was surprised when I got a call that there was a fight and we cannot get material. What concerns to material coming from US traveling through that route. And there was a major disruption because we are running out within a week. So what to do? So I was started checking which are the alternate supply chain we can explore. And I was surprised that many of them are already stocked in different depot parts warehouse. So I was thinking why this information we are aware that this fight may disrupt the total supply chain. They have already taken action based on the news in the media. So it's about time phase when you are having information and how fast we can quickly act on those information. AI, of course, is going to be a major disruption what concerns to supply chain. If you go to any conventional company today, there is a paper called PF, purchase requisition. It travels to the deck of purchasing officer. You award, you decide a contract, and you will see after all the changes we have in the technology, everything is manual. Maybe it is done on a computer. But today I have come across some companies, they are on initial phases of medium AI, narrow AI they call it, and they are doing all the contracting through AI. So they don't print, they don't review, comma, full stop, which are the contracting language they should have. They have enough in the library to create a contract for you. Believe me, if the end user, the end customer, is the one who is going to ask for disruption. If you look at supply chain, if I am needing an item, I don't know when it will come because when it travels from my deck, we don't know when material is going to arrive. So I have seen many companies, if you are requiring a material, you just order it on the mobile app and exactly you can track where they are, when they are arriving, and you can plan your activity when the material arrives. So supply chain disruption is one area, whether it is material planning, forecasting, and the cost of supply chain is going to reduce significantly after engagement of RPA. Today we have forecasting which is manual and readjusting the forecast or schedule is a major task. You go to any manufacturing company, whether it is auto. So 4 years back, I have a very unique experience with Toyota. So 11th June happens to be my wedding anniversary day, and I asked my hybrid car to be delivered on that day or produced in the factory on the day, and just wanted to test whether they can make it happen. So they have not given me anything to try, but it was exactly produced on that day. So when the car arrived on the day, it was labeled produced in Bangalore plant on 11. So this is the kind of innovation you can do around when you have really tracking of what is flowing as a material and what is flowing as a manpower. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to take a little bit of a different perspective because I'm not a technology evangelist as most of the people here. So I'll take a business aspect to it, right? Sometimes, and I'm not saying we are, but sometimes we kind of look like a hammer looking for a nail, right? And I want to do it in almost a reverse approach. So when I work with my CTO, the Chief Technology Officer, we are thinking about what technology to use for what use case. That becomes very important. So what we have been doing at Invesco, which is an asset management company, is we're kind of dissecting our value chain to some extent, understanding where are the key points of where we can address, especially at this point, we're looking at more cost saving and from a revenue growth, which would be another level for innovation, if you will, we're looking at things like tokenization. So I know we've talked about artificial intelligence, so I'm going to leave that topic, but move to tokenization, which is very hardcore in financial services right now. You might have heard of blockchain and the usage of it. I was actually able to see that live in action because what tokenization does is, as you know, the murals and the arts, we can't ever own those. Now, with tokenization, you're kind of fragmenting ownership, you're fragmenting assets, you're making illiquid assets into liquid assets. So I thought that would be a very different a thing that we're seeing. And like I said, we're looking very closely at our value chain and taking a very strategic but a slow approach in saying where do we want to invest next. Artificial intelligence and tokenization are the two areas that I see.
It's excellent inputs, I should say. So yes, technology really, if I can say one part is if you can, company can be divided in as a value chain, and each part of a value chain, how technology helps to increase efficiency effectiveness is one part. But how technology helps from a whole industry point of view, the second part. So my second question which I want to ask is Satinder ji, that Tata Steel innovated by using technology in totally integrating the company. And they say they have a digital platform where they connect operation, procurement to production to customer. And one thing about Tata Steel, I should say that they were very fast in COVID 19 situation to know what was happening in the market, and they crafted products very fast, which one of the include here is using the steel pipes to make something called a laptop cables in situations. So can you just throw some light on that? How does a steel company use technology to minimize costs, but at the same time deliver new products and build efficiency to the customers?
So one is efficiency and second is profitability, because after COVID, when there was a recovery in economy, everybody came. The steel was the one. I don't know you are aware that the steel prices have gone up by 20-25%. So this is highest increase in a period of 1 year of time frame they have witnessed. One is what skill is required and which kind of product mix offering you have in the market was very different after COVID. So everybody realized that the need for product portfolio has to undergo a change, and this change was in such a scale that nobody was able to really judge what is really requested by the market. Car market was down. If you continue producing cold rolled seats, it is going to, there is no takers. So this point of time when recovery was on, everybody utilized this point of time to really decide which business model they are going to be. I'll give you an example. Being associated with CNH, which is a company which is world-class manufacturer. It's almost 20 kilometers from here. We have generated highest revenue post-COVID. So our global revenue was $25 billion. Pre-COVID to post-COVID, almost there are good amount of growth. So we have started gazing the COVID impact. If you look at the impact level in China, it is having a cyclicity. It was not all across impact at the same point of time. People have started targeting different markets. Like there were different point of time when North America recovery was on, different point of time or Latin countries started recovering. India has a different cyclicity. Everybody has just predicted which part of the business they are going to focus and which geographical location. And I think I can tell you that it's not us. All major companies have got a lot of benefits just focusing on the recovery cycle, which many geographical locations have different curves. So it's about adopting, and I think there was even no prediction when we are going to recover. There was a lot of predictability which country is going to be impacted more and which is going to be the recovery cycle. So this is the power of really having information and really changing your product mix. Because by the time you produce the product and it receives in the market, it's a gap of 3 months. So if you can anticipate which market you are going to target, you will be really beneficial.
My next question is to Mr. Nilesh. One thing I really liked in the introduction when you said that you were the first company to start EdTech and the first company to start matrimonial sector.
I want to believe that.
No problem. I agree with you because 90s, I believe, post 95, very less songs were there. Now, if you look at, if I take one part for matrimonial sites, the growth rate in matrimonial sites from year 2006 to 2008 was 625%. And many people say the reason is because, yes, we had some economic up in 2005, 2006. Second thing, we realized a lot of demographic shift. India became a young country by 2008 because 50% of Indians were working class population. If I say more than 20 and between 20 and 54. So if the question that I want to ask you here is, how can a person say that, okay, fine, if I use this technology at this particular time, it will be successful. If I use this technology at this particular time, it will not be successful. So what are the antecedents for using technology at the proper time so that you can create and capture more value?
Thank you so much. I was thinking that this question was going towards matrimonial sites and marriages, topic I prefer to avoid, not for any specific reason. Okay, so basically, I would like to say that whenever we are talking about business models, one of the most important things is there's no assurance or guarantee that this would work, this would not work. Same is with the technology. Now, one of the most important things that I would like to say is there's one book which is written by Eric Rice, which is on the startup one, and where he talks about how you should be looking at technology as well as business models. And one of the most important thing that he says is pivoting. So in technology, everything is progressive elaboration. And when I say progressive elaboration, the best example that I would like to give is that when you are walking in the jungle in the night with a torch, you are able to see only up to certain area. Your ability to see that and pivot your path is most important. So how exactly something is going to work and something is not going to work is not what we can really predict, but our ability to pivot, use the data, and this is where our data science and AI would come into picture. We're fine-tuning some of the things, we would be able to take much more proper decisions looking at the data. And if I would know that if this particular model is going to work, I would have made it use 20, 30 years back and would have been totally different ballgame right now. But that is what is more important. The other factor which I would like to call out is that, so one is the ability to pivot. The second is what we see is as collective wisdom. We should be able to read the collective wisdom moreover. And what do I mean by that? In 2004, we had Chris Anderson talking about long tail. Most of you must have studied long tail. Now, long tail, was it something very new? No, I don't think so. Fortune at bottom of the pyramid was something written by an Indian author way ahead of it. But then what Anderson did was he actually did the research, he came up with the examples, he put it across for everyone, and a lot of companies started adopting it. And that is where I believe a role of institutes, research organization comes into picture. If we don't have relationship between industry and research organizations work is not consumed by industry, not for patentizing or not for monetizing it, but to understand the overall direction where it is going, we would have a problem. Freemium. I mean to say Google came in life for the first time, and most of you have been using Google every day. Has anybody thought about it that a free thing, the economy of free, something that you're going to use free of cost, would be the most successful company in the world? So that freemium model also was put across by Chris Anderson at that particular time. So your ability to pivot, your ability to consume what are the patterns which are being published by the researchers is the second thing. The third thing that I would like to call out is about how much are you going to support that technology as well as that application for how long? And that is something going to be very important. That's what I would like to say.
Fine, Yashi. So now my third question is to Garima. Now, as we have seen, both the examples first say that when you use technology, yes, it helps you to create efficiency and effectiveness. Like for example, if I say the answer of Sajendraji, we linked the steel from procurement to production to marketing, and then a marketing team gets one particular input, and in a real time it goes to the production person. He makes that and gives to the marketing, and delivers to the product. That's how the company develops resilience and create value. If you look at Melissab's answer, the antecedents he created for something called as how a technology can be successful from an ecosystem perspective to looking at from the point of view of taking risk in other activities. In a firm, frankly speaking, if we want to implement technology, now and we say earlier the research, if you look at from a research point of view, it was more of a change management, where a person would say that like if I can use as a Hindustan example, that some timekeeper used to be there. Okay? Now, if say, okay, you are using this technology, why should I use this technology? So if you say, no, it is good for the company, it will help you to reduce cost, and we may survive for long, then sometimes the employer will say, it may be possible that I may be fired, correct? Or in some cases, he will not be able to give his full in that manner. So how to manage the transformation in a firm when you use a new technology so that we can capture value, create and capture value simultaneously from the firm point of view.
I mean, thank you very much for asking this question. And I know we come from a little separate world. I come from a company where there are 7,000 people, right? And there is a leadership hierarchy and whatnot. So, and also, as you know, I come from a financial sector which is highly regulated. And so your question is very relevant for what I'm dealing with. So I'm on the technology board of Invesco, where we are looking at technology and the use of technology in a little conservative but meaningful way. As Mr. Nilesh pointed out about pivot and what you can see and where can you pivot to the next path. I think that's the kind of calculated approach we're taking, unfortunately or fortunately. And what we have built is a strategic intelligence capability, right, which is a very structured foundation laid by myself and proposed to our C-suite, which is actually taking a look at what is the chatter coming from, what is social media doing, what are our biggest competitors such as BlackRock, asset management company doing, and then we kind of look at what the threshold is before we go and invest blindly in it. Of course, there are a lot of pilot programs that are happening, and finance is actually uh, very adjacent to technology. So when you come with such a kind of a big firm where eyes are on you, like right now I'm in the ESG as my day job, right? And regulations are very critical, and everyone's asking, so how are you using artificial intelligence? What, because we know there are inherent biases right now in the artificial intelligence model, and as you may know about the United States economy, the bias, the social bias is a big thing. So I'm pretty passionate about how to move fast but yet slow, right? And so the strategic intelligence capability that we've laid out has been pretty accepted by people because we're not going to the next thing, like the shiny object, right? There is a shiny object, let's go invest. And where we're taking more calculated approach. So we have metrics where we measure the threshold and see, yeah, there is enough activity here, there is enough VC activity here, and now let's actually go ahead and get the board to approve the funding for us. So we're a highly regulated firm like that. And also you have to understand is, again, my world looks a little bit different because there are a lot of incumbent baggage, right? And in my younger years, I used to not really enjoy that. I used to look at my brother's company and the way he could steer. For me, it was more like I have to embrace this baggage with me and really redefine the rules of the game for what we created 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago when we said, yeah, artificial intelligence is in its experimental phase, it is being regulated, we're not going to go there. Now we are going to change and we have to take a bulk load of people with us. So to your point, the change management, the transformation mindset is pretty huge, and it's not just managing what you said about, oh, I'm not going to use the technology. We also have to educate our senior leaders. So my CTO actually took an artificial intelligence course with me in order to get educated, and we were building Python models together because neither him or I use it, but we had to understand the details of it so we can inspire our leaders and our juniors on this journey. So it has been a bit of a journey, I would say.
That's really great. So, one thing I should say, you should learn to unlearn to learn. One thing we can really get it from here. And even as the chairman, he says, yes, I want to sit with my employees and learn and see how new technology is going to interfere with me. That's really, really great. So, when we looked at this about technology, how they have, I should say, changed efficiency, effectiveness in formation and activity. But one thing really comes to the mind, like for example, if I go to 18th century initially, the first, if you say, technology disruption which came was to steam engine. Then it took around 15 to 20 years for somebody to see one technology which was available called internal combustion engine. And one gentleman used the technology and developed a product. That's how the automobile started coming into place. Then one person came and said, okay, fine, I want to make it as a mass product. So I need to have from 21 days, I'll reduce it to 4 days of man hour. And that's how the whole production thing started. It took 100 years, still efficiency of automobile remained the same till 2000. Post 2000, a lot of change happened in automobile. Now we have around 10 man hours to produce a car. So it took around approximately, I should say, 60 years for an automobile to actually change what currently it is. If you look at IT or if you look at software to be more precise, yes, 1950s and 60s and 70s, the main product and applications start to come into place. Apple created a disruption. But Apple took from 1976 to, I should say, 2011, the share price was flat. 2001, there's some people say that if I had invested in Apple shares in 2011, in 1 lakh rupees, if I had invested, I would have been a nice, sitting in a nice multi-million rupees or dollars to be more precise, to be more active. Now, in this circumstance, when I look at industry cycle I'm talking about, in industry cycle, this question is all three of you, anyone would like to say. In industry cycle, how can you say that, okay, this is the time where I need to invest into this technology, or this is the time I should say that, okay, fine, and now I should not invest into this technology, or this is the time when I should invest the technology in one functional area. Like earlier, the first time when analytics was used in a company called News Corporation, they acquired a company called Factor1, and they used to do the basic newspaper analysis and data. But now, if you look at from the Tata Steel point of view, analytics is linked to total value chain, from procurement, my suppliers, to production to marketing. So how does a firm take that decision? That, okay, I invest into one functional area or all the functional areas, and how do they integrate together?
So I'll go first. Just again, like I was describing, right? We have a very phased approach of how we're going to invest in technology. One thing we're going to look at is, as I was describing, across the whole value chain of the company, we're going to look at different points where we can address for cost, right? So that is our primary mode of investment right now. The second mode of investment is to upskill our labor force, right? And like I think Mr. Himanshu said, we want to make sure that the employees are equipped to handle AI in a more meaningful way. And then other part of point where we're investing in at the moment is in the customer centricity. So where the joke in the company by a senior leader from us is like we could never use customization and scale in one sentence ever. And with this technology that's being challenged, we are now thinking about customization at scale, especially since we deliver financial products, right? That becomes very important because every individual is very different in terms of their risk tolerance. And for the first time with artificial intelligence, with chatbots even, or institutional different clients that we have, we can now customize at scale. And that's like our second value proposition within the company. Now, of course, there are going to be trailblazers who actually look at how to generate a total new product or a total new revenue stream. And that's something that we're looking into, but not really trailblazers, to be honest with you. So I think you can kind of attack some of these levels like the cost, the efficiency, the customer centricity, and revenue. And of course, geography. I think most of the big companies have already are global, so this could be a fifth one. So that's how we're doing it from my perspective.
Coming from Garima, earlier we thought mass production is something which is the key, and this trade American has done. So they produce everything, and that's there in the black color with thousand numbers being produced by the factory. And then Japanese learned the kind of value proposition we can have, customization with scalability. Right? So one of the discussions which I see is that everyone wants whosoever is owning a car, bike, they would like to know where they are, what is the kind of frequency where the service is due or not. So I don't know, we have seen. We have started a customer connection to the country. is the first of its kind in Asia Pacific region, where all the moving equipment, they are today tracked. The filter has to be changed. Before machine goes to a breakdown, there is an alert coming in your head. Go and change this filter. Right. At the same time, asset utilization, the owner or the fleet owner will have a fair idea where the machine are, what is the kind of consumption productivity generated, how many hours it has run. Earlier, this was running like a big data going in the files of Excel sheet, somebody. Now it is already coming because all the machines are today connected. So these connected devices have bring a different dimension to business. The cost of this technology has come down significantly slower, right? One of the telematic systems we have in India is 10,000, 15,000 rupees. So this has also allowed, this is not a luxury, right? I can have a mobile app, I can see where my asset is, what is the kind of utilization it has, when the level is coming down. And the sensing system, the high quality sensing system is really giving like new generation engine. You have just the new generation engines are totally electronic. So you can have temperature, all the sensing you can do, how many hours you have run, what kind of fuel economy you have achieved. Everything is being tracked. Not tracked by the machine itself, tracked centrally by someone. And there is a big role of data analytics who can work with redesigning the machine, really looking at the data, analyzing it critically to really look at what kind of reliability and customer uh, simplicity it can bring by offering these kind of services. So I think you have heard our transport minister saying that all the cars in India, and now we don't have only GPS, we have Navi. You have heard about it. It's a new app we have replacing GPS. We'll have that. And I don't have to really call a truck driver, where are you? I'm missing your consignment. You are real time tracking them. And also tracking if something goes wrong, we can do condition monitoring of many of the critical devices you have. So I think this is one change which is going to disrupt. And the more you do it, better you do it, early we do it, more closure you can give to the customer without having any physical interface. If you would like to know what is the kind of service feedback he is giving, you can yourself see that how what happened after first service has already happened. So this is the kind of change, and this is one of the disruptions we will have. The more you utilize this kind of technology, analyze it, and redesign your product for better quality, for better reliability, the more demand you can generate for the business. Thank you.
So when Prashant talked about shares of Apple, it reminds me of the time when I left Microsoft. I had few shares of Microsoft. And I was thinking that Microsoft is a declining company with Steve Ballmer leading it. I sold them at $35. And my heart sings right now. But then, yeah, that is what it is all about. I wish I could have thought about Satya would come in and change the fortune of a company. And I'm so proud that he's an Indian doing all those things. But gone are those days. Microsoft was think as a declining company. But then thinking of the declining company, you rightly said, the life cycle of the company is really reducing. We had GE, which took 100 years to really come up from a startup to a mature company. We had Reliance taking 30 years, Microsoft taking 25 years, Apple taking almost 32 years till Bill Gates invested into Apple. I don't know, somehow I always get Bill Gates and into Apple, telling them that Apple was successful because Bill G invested there. A bit of Microsoft had it work. But then right now, if you really see Baidu, Nika, for Twitter for that matter as well, from a startup to a mature to a young company to a declining company, that cycle comes on very fast. And Ashwath Damodaran, who is one of the best valuation author across the world from HBR, talks very great about it. If you're interested, please go ahead and listen to what he's saying. But then in this scenario where the life cycle of the company is pretty short, it is very important how do you take those decisions, what technology, what is the kind of business model that you need to deploy into your planning. Our CEO, Dave Wright, he says it's philosophical rather than technological or research based. So philosophically, he has told all of us that any decision to implement anything for governance, keep it out. We'll just trust every of our employees. So no tool that talks about governance should come into it. Everything that we should go ahead and implement should be for enhancing our partner relationships. So let's focus. So if somebody goes to him and says, this is a great tool to monitor some things which is internal, he says, get lost, I'm not interested. Let's trust. Let's remove all the red tape onto it. Anything which enhances the profit of a partner, let's go ahead and do that for next 5 years. Can we continue doing this after 5 years? Maybe, maybe not. But then philosophically, he has taken these decisions. And because of this, most of the technologies or most of the, so we are not implementing blockchain right now at all, anywhere. And that's a policy decision. It has got nothing to do with any technology as such. So that is something that our company is doing. And I believe the growth of the company in the last 10 years is only because of this kind of saying no to certain things and saying yes to only few things. So that's what my take would be on it.
Yeah, thanks, Nish. So now, for example, if I just take an input what Garima just mentioned, there was a company which started in 2016. The name of the company was Lemonade, the insurance firm. And when somebody asked the startup guy that why did you start in insurance, they were nothing but technocrats people. They said insurance is the industry which is the second oldest industry, around 300 to 400 years old, and which has not changed its business model till date. And if you look at Fortune 500 list, out of which 12% of the companies actually are somewhere directly related to insurance or are insurance companies. And in America, it's around $11 trillion, they say, the whole world per se, the whole economy of insurance. So they said it has not changed for so many years, so let me do some destruction. So one destruction, they said that it has a long gestation period of break-even, 8 years of break-even. So they said, what we'll do here is we will be there only having a mobile. We will just focus on the job to be done for the customer. So the customer wants trust because insurance is a behavior finance. So more for behavior economics. So I will say that trust is more important. Very easy, I should get insurance. I should also get my claim fast and other services which it comes to that. And then they developed the whole technology system. So they had AI, Maya, AI, bot, Jim, and they created many other things to that. And the company started in 2016. In 2022-23, they had their first profit, and they actually is the more revenue than State Farm in US. So how they disrupted that whole activity. So yes, if you are very clear what is Nilesh just mentioned that the main corporate strategy of the firm and what is the basic principle of the firm is that leaving it the technology that becomes successful. Second thing, what Satyendraji just mentioned about an automobile. So one of the gentlemen had come, we had a discussion here, and he said that when we used to sell very costly trucks, so the transporter used to come and say, sir, आपने कहा था कि इसका जो mileage है वो अच्छा है, but it's not good. So you said 22 kilometers per liter, but it is only going at 19 kilometers per liter, in some cases only 17. So nobody's take the truck back because that is what you promised. Then the gentleman said, okay, fine, just wait a minute. He went to his computer, did some analysis and said, it is not due to us, it is due to your driver. Because the driver drew this particular time, that drove the vehicle badly. So it's directly related to the driver. So you should train your driver better than anything else, correct? So in that case, when actually, frankly speaking, the value, the brand value of the company also increases, and company also helps the customer to say that, okay, fine, this is how you can train your employee and reduce costs. So that's another issue. One more thing I have to tell you, we did a project with Reliance, and when Jio was launched, they had to do it very fast. And they had to recruit around 1.5 lakh people in 20 days flat. So they said, how do I recruit 1.5 people 20 days flat? And that also, I have to see everything. It's not possible. They created an app, WhatsApp. They use WhatsApp as a platform. And they said, okay, fine, you first give a CV, AI will check the CV, and then they will shortlist the people, and they will then send you the link for interview. You then, after a basic interview, they'll say, okay, turn your computer, your mobile phone, record a video. The video will analyze everything and say you are true or not true. And they say, okay, fine, you put your Aadhaar and other activities, and in real time you get the thing done.
So it was the fastest implementation using just WhatsApp as a platform and other activities to do that. So yeah, technology can be a big disruptor. But major issue happens here is why, like for example, this question to you, sir, Nilesh, why big companies, tech companies like VG is failing? Market is huge, it is growing. It is around 8% CAGR currently also. If you can see it, why it is failing? Let's celebrate the failure first. And then we can talk about why they're failing. Well, I don't know why value, I know why value is failing, but I don't want to talk about it right now here. But companies will fail. When we say companies fail, it's the business model that is failing, it's not the company, unless and until it is an ethical issue. But basically, it's all about what we think. It's not Baidu is failing, it is right now not making money. Of course, the thing it should make money as of now. But they should really go ahead and pivot. It's not only Baidu, it's Nika which is failing. Yes. Major companies are failing, but then Zepto has done amazingly great in the last 3 years of time, with just 18 and 19 years of people. So one of the most important things is that we should really be thinking about lot of things, the way our business models are pivoting it. So right now, if we can really focus on Baidu and say that they would pivot, they will work onto it and we trust them, I think they would be successful over a long period of time. Unless and until we don't start celebrating those failures, we won't be able to have it. So that's what my first point would be. The other thing, which is one of the most important thing is, and I'll go back to my first thing that I made. Indore is a clean city. I came 2 weeks back here and I was surprised. I went to Chappan. They were not giving me tissue papers. They said you will lodge your out here. And nobody was throwing anything on the ground. I went back to Pune and I thought, why the hell Pune can't do this? And we had a conversation around it. And we realized the major difference between Indore and Pune is Indore people are proud of Indore. And that's what I was telling them. They want their city to be clean. Then I said, why the hell Pune is not proud of themselves? It has got great legacy and everything. 53.7% of people right now in Pune come from other cities. They are proud about their basic cities, but they think this is something temporary for me. So unless and until you are not proud about something that you are doing, there would be no major change. Now, one of the most important things we should be doing is, we should be proud about the startups which are coming from India. We should be talking about those stories. Any company that is there in India, we should be talking about it more. I know our government is doing a lot of things for us to be proud about our legacy, which is 100 years, 1,000 years, or more than that. But we should be talking about why UPI is successful. Why Aadhaar is being able to implement at such a high speed. So we should be talking about the success stories and we should be talking about the reasons of the success stories. And then we should be publishing things about why things are not going to go in the right way in forms of patterns so that the other companies who go ahead can avoid what Baidu has done, can avoid what Nika has done. So this is something that what we should be doing. Sorry, I just ducked your question and went on with something else, but this is what I wanted to say.
Thanks a lot, Nilesh. We understood that activity. Now, my last question, which is for all of you. Now, see, when you look at technology, it's an intangible resource. And like you mentioned, Ma'am, and you mentioned, the main issue here is the technology is when you implement in a firm, it is there in the person's mind. So we say it is more of a tacit knowledge rather than explicit knowledge. Now, what should the firm do so that the knowledge is captured by the firm, not by the person? Like recently, when one gentleman left one IT firm and joined another IT firm, the share price went down, even if that company created a profit of 39%. They thought because long term the company will not be able to make money because the main knowledge, relationship, the idea of how the whole financial model was done was by due to this particular gentleman. So what should firm do so that they can capture that tacit knowledge, which is there in the mind of a person, not written or documented?
Right. So I've worked with at least 15 different firms because of being in a consulting background. I think that the technical know-how is only a little important. It's not everything, right? And now we're coming into the phase in the technology area where everything is open source. So I kind of differ from what you might have asked and maybe kind of put another angle here. So I don't think it's the technical knowledge, but what disrupts big companies is generally that key figure who is being respected in the firm, right? And he has a technical know-how, he knows the business, he has the relationships, and he has the ability to move the people to do what is needed. I think when that central spoke it goes missing, that is the biggest problem. We've had incidences where our technology architecture geek has left, and yeah, it does hurt because he did not document anything, and that is our biggest problem. But in this new era, I don't think that technical know-how is somebody that is, as you said, the tacit knowledge. It is more how you can use the technology to implement this business model disruptions, how you can motivate your employees, how we can go to this pilot stage, how we can, the people, that entrepreneur mindset, even in a big company is important. The ability to fail fast, the ability to fight, especially with the senior leaders in a firm like mine, where money and resources have to be endorsed by people. I think that kind of ignited figure is what I think is critical to the success in the new generation. And I think that would be really what would set artificial intelligence or the use of it. Because while my CTO talks about, Garima, I don't want to have 1,000 people technology firm. I want to outsource every single one of it. I need two people who can just put together code and review it and run it, right? That's his ultimate vision, but I just think that, technology, SMEs are getting displaced by the artificial technology tools, but really how to integrate everything is what is becoming more and more important. And that's why I'm proud to be sitting in a management institute here. That's what I hope we're learning.
Good. Thanks.
I think one of the success why companies are getting close, they are not able to adopt technology is also driven by the steps you create in between you and customer. Look at Uber and look at the old model where we are calling taxis. So you don't have to really announce where you are because you are with your mobile, there's a GPS device, and the number of steps between you calling and you just putting a destination, everything is there. So number of steps which has to be 7 or 8 has been reduced to just one. You don't have to announce where you are. You have to just declare where you want to go. The bill is there. The time taken is there. Everything is there. When the driver is coming, everything is there. So it's number of steps. So most of the companies, their success and failure is how close you are to the customer, how you bring benefit of technology, which will really benefit the end user. Uh, Technology sometimes doesn't change mindset. This is a myth. Because my mother, she is 80 years old, but she has got the mobile only 10 years back, 5 years back. But she operates YouTube, she operates WhatsApp, she can send photographs. And nobody has taught her how to utilize a mobile. Now, if you look at our kids, nobody is teaching them. But whenever there is any bug in my iPhone, normally who fixes is my daughter.
They teach us.
So they are teaching us. In fact, I have just got a new app, 360 installed in my app. So I'm tracked all the time. So I don't have to go, okay, I've left office, I'm arriving. So no need to announce. So now new generation mindset is less of talking and more of a chatting. So we have a house which is 3 floors. So normally there is a alert which is coming in the common room. Okay, it's time for dinner. Everybody is going. So it's not. It's a myth that we say that technology is not something which has to be adopted. The mindset change will happen by really bringing technology very closer to customer, the ease of your operation. Right. So this is one of the disruption I see that in day-to-day life, we realized that my vegetable vendor who is serving me every day fresh vegetable, he's always coming with a QR code. And now he has started declaring what he is going to bring. So sometimes he is bringing, I don't have a choice, okay, I'm just regretting, okay, I don't need it. But now he has given me, I don't know from where he has got, the new some of the students of IIT just developed a new mobile app where they will ask what you need to cook tomorrow, right? And this guy who is, I don't think he has even a degree. He has gone to that level to connect to the customer to a level where he is asking my wife what you are likely to cook tomorrow, so that he can go to nearby mandi and bring the same stuff. And believe me, he is collecting, he is counting. So this is the level of intervention. So I don't think you require a big degree to really be closer to customer. It's a mindset, how close you are to your customer. Thank you.
So, I would agree with Garimaji on when it comes to technology for the companies. I don't think so anymore. Technology is on that critical path or critical skills that it's going to disrupt anything. The democratization of technology is so big. For example, right now, if I have to do a coding and I have been trained in, let's say, Ruby on Rails, and I need to go onto something on Python, I have something called as Copilot. I just convert there and I say, this is my logic, give me a code in Python, and it gives me a code in Python. So technology is no more that important. Also, the ability which I keep on talking about is to make changes into your ability to learn new technologies and implement is more important. So when we interview people, we don't interview on those skills that they have, but on the ability how they can implement new technologies is more important. And then as again a principle, we don't implement any technology which is on a growth path, which is established. A lot of people are available onto our crucial products or crucial projects. If at all we need to use a technology which is on the innovative curve very early, we will use it into our R&D and not in our major product. So these are few of the decisions that we have taken as a company. And technology is just a media. Earlier we used to say, "Gear wali gaadi aati hai kya?" or "Automatic gaadi aati hai kya?" No more it is a relevant question. Everybody knows how to drive. If you know how to navigate in the traffic, rest all is simple.
Thanks. Now, the last question I want to ask all the three panel members, because when you mentioned about UPI, the main reason for government to implement UPI were two reasons. One was one RBI report, which mentions that we should need to print less currency. The cost is very high in printing currency. Second report was from income tax, which say that only 1.25% of Indian population pay income tax. And we are implementing GST, so we need to have real-time tracking of the whole activity together. So that resulted in UPI. And then government said, okay, fine, digital infrastructure, Indians have mobile phone, let's start that activity. Now, if you, and this is what comes from policy decision. So the thing which I wanted to ask you, the last question I wanted to ask you is, when you look at, there is nothing, what do you think government of India need to do so that we are famous in developing new technologies? Like, for example, a person standing in rain didn't have a vehicle, decided to start something called Uber in 2008. Somebody in a migratory, in a immigrant setup decided that if I have internet and I don't have a mobile connection, I can still communicate. And so WhatsApp started. And so what government of India need to do, like for example, if I go one step behind, penicillin to become actual penicillin took 30 years. The person who developed initial penicillin, then he didn't have the filtering technology, and then somebody else came with one more new technology, and then the third gentleman joined, and then that's how the pure form of penicillin came, which could be used by human for 30 years. So what do you think that government should do so that we develop new technologies and absorption in technologies in the firm increases so that India develops its competitiveness more? Any participation?
Anybody wants to go? Because I think twice before I advise to a government, so I don't want to take the first shot. So basically, again, I don't know what government should be doing, but overall, what should be done, and that should government should fall in line with what that thought process is what I would say. So basically, are we doing great things in technology? Yes, we are doing great things in technology. UPI or Aadhaar card are one of them. When it comes to really service-based industry, it's a huge thing. Himanshu sir in the morning said that we still have not developed a Microsoft or a Apple or any of the product-based companies. Basically, all these product-based companies, when we see, it's a combination of a business model plus technology. Only technology we are great. Government is doing a lot of great things. I mean to say, the kind of IITs or the engineering college that have come across in last 15 years is amazing. I think it is about the business model. It's about understanding the business needs, and more management college plus technology college should work together. Having this differentiation of management and technology separately might not work if we really have to create the business oriented technology companies. So that is one of the most important things, that we need to really reduce the gap between management and technology. So that is one of the things that we should be doing. Second thing is, uh, again, it's happening more of the times than what it used to be when I was in college, that people want to go out of the country and work there. All the Satyas and everyone, they went there and they're producing a lot of great things out there. But then an ecosystem needs to be built. Again, the ecosystem by providing a lot of funding, by providing a lot of infrastructure. So for e-commerce, ONDC is one of the very good platforms that is coming up. So if there are a lot of e-commerce companies that are going to be building up in India, ONDC would be a great platform. So this kind of platforms will be there. Startup India is one of the great platforms that we do have. So we need to really ensure that platform, the ecosystem, and all these things are available in India to form this kind of companies. And creating a lot of pride for Indian companies is the next thing that should happen. I want to work for an Indian company in my life once. I have never done that. I have always worked for either an American or a European company, and that's the biggest regret of my life. So if I get to work, anybody who wants to hire me, I would be open for that to start a company.
So I think we always look at government to do something, and they should come with a new policy. I think many policies have been built and built in last 10 years. Some of them are successful, some of them are not. But I think the key is not the policy, the mindset, the kind of voice which is coming to us through the policy. Recently, government introduced, and I started participating with all industries to reskill India mission. And I was talking to a few of them. I said, why not to reskill? Everybody talks about college dropout, but nobody has spoken about the school dropout. The rates of the school dropout are very high, especially coming from villages where people don't even got a higher secondary or secondary degree. So we started initiative with support of government to reskill India mission, school dropout. So very difficult, those who have never seen a computer to train them on telematics. One of our asset and one of the surveys suggested that many of our customers, they bought a machine which is more than a crore. That is a kind of investment. When it comes to hire a driver, they pay minimum wages, 15,000, 10,000. So the guy who is going to operate a machine and make it efficient, he is more than a crore rupees. But what he is going willing to pay to a driver who will make it run and efficient operation is 10,000. So we said, why don't we take these school dropouts and government policy supported, because the skill Ministry of India is real skill. Just in front of IIM Indore, we bought a land on a rental model, and we have taken all the school dropouts, invited from all over India. And these school dropouts, some of them have fifth standard degree. They are today operating on a computer. They can run a machine which is high-end with a lot of telematics, GPS, everything they can drive. And we have gainfully utilized them with our dealers, with different. And we floated them that these are the skill set which we have. And the minimum wage in this market, which was 15,000, they have been employed with 30,000 by our dealers. So, and these are school dropouts. So this is the salary expectancy in India after graduation, right? And they are getting them there. So it's a mindset that nobody will adopt technology. So policies are sometimes forceful and allow us to rethink. Another good example I can give you is we have, it's not a government policy, but we are promoting a lot of diversity. So we have a very new line which is recommissioned from US to India, and we are the first one to produce those equipment. And we said it was my idea to promote diversity in engineering sector. It will go to hardcore engineering activity, torquing, lifting. This is a job which is still man-driven. They are the one who should be doing it, not the females. We said this line will be with 100% diversity, and we promote policies of our government. And nobody believed it. Today I have a fully run line, the same standard quality standard, where all the by policy, all engagement is with the team. Logistics engineering to a store to warehouse to quality check. Last 2 months back when we reviewed, they said that there are 4 male working because these are muscular, they need to talk very, and these are, so we said, HR, you need to locate, find out girls who has such a power, and they end up hiring, and I decided, okay, this is the line which is done, make in India, make in Pithampur, for the global world for 140 countries, where the female power, and all these blue collars are from the big city in around Pithampur. Some of them are ITI and these kind of things. The kind of pride when they say, when one of our CEO when they arrived, posing a photograph with them, this is built in India, built in Pithampur for global 104 countries, only by female employees. Where we have by policy not allowed any intervention coming from any side in the business. So sometimes pushing policies also is a new way of experimenting, where we are not able to look at due to our belief, which is already created for various reasons.
Thank you. So I don't vote here, so this might be my only chance to amplify my message, even though I'm from Indore, to the government. But I echo what the two of you have said about, the business model and the technology working together. And one thing that is very core to me is what you said about, Mr. Tiwari, about sustainability, not just from product standpoint, but also from the society standpoint. And I think that is a very core need of India. When I have to describe what is India to my friends who've never been here, I am like, well, we have two different views of India, right? And I think if we can somehow leverage the concept of, how to capture the gold at the bottom of the pyramid, as you may have mentioned, right? How do we take that part of the society with us? I think that helps a lot. And I know we as Indians have not contributed to a lot of the carbon emissions that are floating in the air right now. But if we can kind of lead the way to capture it and kind of encourage the government to put more money, finances, and private companies to capture the carbon, I think we will become the next leader, because that is the core need. Going back to the business need, this is the global need. This is a societal need. If we can come with sustainable products, with products that speak to different strata of the society, different parts of governance like gender equality and whatnot, I think that would be the key area from my perspective where we should be investing as a country.
Thanks, ma'am. So, one question from anyone wants to ask any question, please. Okay.
So, since the nature of job is
Mike.
Hello, sir. My name is Yogesh. And since the nature of job is going to get changed, particularly in manufacturing, and since people are considered to be the most important asset in terms of manufacturing, and they are not going to be replaced as easy as it gets into tech firms. So, how different functions, particularly the HR, they are gearing up to upskill people with new tech coming up. That's the question.
That's the reason I started filling the glass.
In manufacturing, I think there is already a mission all the company has to reskill the labor force. The way they were doing business, like one of the drivers, which he has quoted. Uh, Today, if you look at normal business, like in India has need a lot of welders, and if I don't see that government is speaking a lot about unemployment in India, and we do too. But if you look at the kind of money which is there on the table, I don't know how many of you get a good electrician in your house, even paying fancy money. A good plumber is almost impossible to find because you need 3 repairs before it's leak free. So I think these are the area and these are the area which is not this. I don't think this technology are going to vanish. We'll have some other means to get what electricity in our house. Reskilling them is something which is a big task because one is that you have already a labor force coming for last 30 years. Manual building is now robotized. So you need to learn how to operate a robot. And like one of my welder who has migrated to new generation robot, he has made robot to collide, and there was an accident. And when I checked, we have found it's a German robot closed, and he said this guy, those who is operating this robot, he has already 7 collisions, and there is already alert in the system that where which program is entering in this curve. He has never changed it. So I'm not going to pay you for warranty. This guy who is making a mistake, he is not aware that somebody is tracking it, his machine or his movement. We have almost video surveillance all over the plant. We see the kind of shift towards technology. We need to reskill almost a major force. There is a survey by manufacturing industry that almost we need 40 million labor workforce who has to be reskilled because today the skill set, the way the manufacturing is happening. Go to any manufacturing hardcore setup, go to casting. If any of you have seen any casting or foundry and also very dark, or but it's all clean. We are not able to see. Go to a steel making company. I don't know how many you have seen Tata Steel or Steel Authority of India. You cannot see where the steel is produced today. It's all laptop, all the quality checks are online. So this requires a very different skill set. So reskilling is one of the reasons and where HR can participate. Second area is while reskilling, I think AI is going to disrupt and going to take away the job of HR first. Because HR is the most, as finance, is the most bureaucratic organization you can see. So I don't know, you have seen this survey. You will need less of a less HR workforce because less, again, I was talking about closing the step. Look at the hiring process. One of my friends is a doctor design in Chennai. Her daughter passed out from NIT Bhopal, and within 4 years, she changed four times employment. Of course, it was COVID 4 years back, but all these induction to exit, like interview, everything happened online. She never reported back to office. So this is a new way of doing business. One of things which has changed after COVID, do we need a labor force? One of the engineers from IIT Indore, he arrived and he has done a project for me because during COVID, we are calling people just to fire furnace, make the switch on for the water line. And his project was, he has just given me a device which can be installed at my mobile with the Wi-Fi. He can make connection on off. So it was, so putting on off switch, we are calling people. And we were challenged when they reviewed and find out, do we need human presence at site after COVID? So there are a lot of things which have changed. And this is where I think, in my edition, HR is one of the major disruptions which will happen in AI. Nobody is going to shortlist profile because this data bank is anywhere there. They will take virtual interviews. So I'm just thinking, and go and see the studies. Do we really need a HR the way it is being organized today? So HR is seven-step process and following normally ABCD policy, which is avoid, bypass, confuse, and then do it. So I have seen, I am coming from L&T, which has, so if you ask, we are just talking about policies. If you ask anything, which is the car policy you will have, and they will look at 30 years old paper scanned, and this is the policy you have. Now, I have seen in the company, car policy has changed 5 times in a year, 5 times in 1 year. Nobody is collecting those 20 years old paper. And I was surprised who is doing it. It is not data, it is done by an external consultant who has done already a benchmarking, which is the right policy, and policy is changing so fast. So I'm just saying, if you look at the way we are organized in key skill of HR, talent hiring, talent is something which is there. AI will support you, which are the same level market everybody is competing, which are the talent, which salary band they are sitting and where. If you want to give a call, AI is there. You want to call him, talk to him, call him. And it is not you, maybe somebody else on your behalf in PR world will be sitting and calling and negotiating also. So I think there are a lot of things which are related to HR skill is going to change. It doesn't mean that HR has to do things very differently than the way today they are organized. Thank you.
Thanks so much, sir. So it was a great interaction. I believe at the tea break we can have more interaction with them. So I really want to thank Leji and Satyendraji and Garima. So it's a great interaction from 3 different industries, and I believe it was very enlightening to for me at least. So I can use some of the examples frankly speaking in my class to be more precise. And really students and staff and faculty were really happy in that. So my personal grateful to you if you could come here and deliver this. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks for giving me.
Thank you for a great discussion. We had a rich learning experience. A heartfelt thanks to the panelists and Professor Salvan, who contributed in making this discussion truly remarkable and infusing this conversation with energy and illustrating the rapid changes in the business landscape. We gained valuable insights into how technology is reshaping and how the, the tech changed the efficiency in the activities of the organization and in the industry cycle, how to understand the time and the functional area of investment, and the ability to pivot the new business models, even though they are challenging, and also the agility, creativity, and the readiness of the technological advancements. They also highlighted the exciting opportunities that accompany these changes, urging us to capitalize on them wisely. Let's remain receptive to the fresh ideas, foster creativity, and develop robust strategies to thrive in the swift technological era. Now, I would ask everyone to enjoy the high tea and request to return by 12 p.m. Thank you.